The following program may contain coarse language, violence, nudity, mature subject matter, or scenes which may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free 1-800-610-7035. My email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. You know, Exonation, humans from every era have wondered about what happens after we die. What happened to us before birth? Whether angels, ghosts, spirit guides, and other beings exist on other plane, and can we communicate with them, and can they communicate with us? Well, my guest this hour, Bob Olson, has the answers. He's an expert on the afterlife who has become nationally known for his workshops, webinars, and media contributions based on over 15 years of research, in-depth interviews, and good old-fashioned detective work. www.bobolson.com, that's BOBOLSON.com is the website. And we're talking to Bob about his new book, Answers About the Afterlife, a Private Investigator's 15-year research unlocks the mysteries of life after death, and it's published by Building Bridges Press. And Bob Olson, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you, Rob. So happy to be here. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Bob, what started you on your quest to find the answers to the most difficult yet haunting questions that mankind has ever come up to?
Well, I think myself, like a lot of people that I've learned over time, is I had a death in the family, and in my case, it was my father. And this was in 1997. He died at the age of 64. I was in my mid-30s. And even though I had lost people before him, for the first time in my life, I actually started to wonder if he went somewhere. And so I decided to find out.
Prior to that, Rob, had you been a very religious person? Had you had any questions that religious philosophies just couldn't answer?
I grew up Catholic. I can't say we were strict Catholics, but we went to church. I went to catechism and all that. And for me, I asked a lot of questions, and I didn't always feel as though I got the answers that satisfied me, and that was just me. But over time, as I got into my late teens and early 20s, I really wasn't following any particular religion anymore. And I got to the point where I was kind of skeptical of everything. I wasn't sure what to believe, and because evidence was so important to me, I decided not to really believe in anything.
You're a private investigator turned psychic investigator, I guess we can say.
Sure.
How important was your training as a private investigator in your research and investigation into the paranormal?
It was really important. I decided after my father passed that I would use my skills as a private eye to investigate the afterlife. And I investigated the afterlife the same way I would investigate any case.
Due diligence, looking for evidence, following all leads, and asking the important questions, hoping to get the right answers.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That was exactly what I had to do, and evidence was so important to me because that was, as a PI, I used to work for a lot of lawyers who would hire me to investigate different cases,
right,
including criminal cases and personal injury cases, and that was all that mattered to them. I learned very quickly as I got into that business that hearsay and conjecture, none of that mattered.
Nope.
If I didn't have evidence, it wasn't worth introducing.
We have to take a commercial break very shortly, Bob, I'm sorry, but there is one question I want to ask you. Did you find the truth? Have you got the evidence?
Good question. For me, I did, and
okay.
I realized that proof is subjective, and so the evidence that I found led to proof for me, but I recognized it wouldn't necessarily lead to proof for everyone. So I try to encourage other people to become their own afterlife investigators. Don't take my word for everything. Just go out there and do their own investigation. And I use my research and my book in order to sort of help them know what to look for.
All right, Bob, we've got to take a 2-minute commercial break. Bob Olson is my very special guest this hour. Bob is the author of Answers About the Afterlife. It's a new book by an esteemed private investigator that offers a wealth of surprising information and evidence about life after death. His website is www.bobolson.com. That's www.bobolson.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, and we're coming to you around the world on the X Zone Broadcast Network and our fine family and growing family of broadcast affiliates. Don't go away. Bob Olson and I will be back talking about answers about the afterlife. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Welcome back, everyone. Bob Olson is my special guest. He is the author of Answers About the Afterlife. A private investigator's 15-year research unlocks the mysteries of life after death. And his website is www.bobolson.com. All right, Bob, let's start at the beginning, okay? This is where I think most questions are asked and most answers to many remain elusive. For example, who or what is God?
Oh, well, there's a powerful question,
Yeah.
right? The evidence, based on what I've seen, indicates to me, and I'm talking about evidence that I found where mediums have communicated through spirits, or people have had near-death experiences and come back and told us what they've experienced or what they've seen, or even some people have had what's called a life between lives regression, otherwise known as a spiritual regression. It's sort of like a past life regression, but they keep going after that person's death in that lifetime, and of course they go into the spirit world. This is the type of evidence, really compelling evidence, when you investigate it the way I have, so that you get to the point where you realize, oh my goodness, this stuff is real. And for me, in looking at all of it, I concluded that God is more of an energy, a creative intelligence, than it is like a big guy in the sky.
Right.
And so all the evidence leads to that. I didn't really find anyone, for instance, who had a near-death experience that said otherwise. They said they were met by God,
Right.
but they would explain it as a light, or, like I said, an energy, or some would call it love. But nobody was describing, someone that looked like a human.
Right.
And this creative intelligence seems to, yes, be in control of all that's going on. And it seems to be profound love and compassion, and it does, the only thing that it's not in control of in terms of human beings is that we have free will. So free will trumps anything that God wants, because that's sort of the point of having a human life, is that we get to sort of come here and experience this lifetime with death and with fear and the things that you don't experience in the lifetime in the spirit world, and experience it knowing that we get to make our own choices.
The funny part about this existence is the moment that we are conceived is the moment we start to die.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I love that. Yeah.
Tell me, how did your near-death experience relate to the other near-death experiences that you've investigated over the years? Were there parallels? Were there similarities? Were there differences?
Well, I mean, yeah, I didn't personally have a near-death experience, so what I did, I investigated hundreds of near-death experiences, and yes, there's many similarities, and where there were differences, it generally had more to do with people's subjective understanding of things. So the differences were the same. Let me give you an example. When I was in college studying for criminal justice, I actually had a professor who played this little trick on the students, where these people from the drama club came running in, and they played out this scene in front of us, which was a crime, and then they just sort of ran out, and then we each of us students had to write down what it was that we saw, and then we read it aloud, and we recognized from that exercise that we all experience something a little